Hi there. I'm going to work some review problems. Taylor asked me for these. So number one, we're asked to factor by grouping. So what you want to do is look for ways that you can group two terms together. These both have a 6 and an A in them. These both have a 7 and a C in them. So the first thing I'm going to do is change the order. Write 6a squared minus 6ab. Now, I'm going to have to be a little bit careful because when I put these terms together, I want the a and the b to be in the same order. So I'm going to write plus 7ac minus 7bc. Now, let's look at the first two terms together and the second two terms together and factor out the greatest common factor. For the first term, that will be 6a, and that will leave me, when I divide this by 6a, I have an a left. When I divide this, I just have a b, so that gives me a minus b. For the second term over here, I can factor out 7c. That will leave me an A minus B. And that's what I want. I want these two things to be the same. So now I can factor that out. So I have A minus B times 6A plus 7C. Okay, so let's work this second problem. I have 1 over 64 to the negative 1/3 power. First thing I want to do is see if I can get rid of that negative exponent. And the way to do that is to flip everything inside. This will be 64 over 1 to the positive 1/3 power. Now that's just 64 to the 1/3 power, which is the cube root of 64. Now you might not know what that is, but you can figure it out. That would be the cube root of 8 times 8, which doesn't really help me. So it's the cube root of 4 times 4 times 4, maybe. That's a better way to write it. Because how did I get there? Well, 8 times 8 is 2 times 4 times 2 times 4, which is 4 times 4 times 4. Or you can put this in your calculator. So this equals 4. Now, another thing you could do when faced with this problem, let's erase this. So if I have 1 over 64 to the negative 1/3 power, I can get rid of my parentheses first. That's 1 to the negative 1/3 over 64 to the negative 1/3. Now 1 to the 1/3 is just 1. 64 to the negative 1/3, well, that's difficult. But to make that a positive exponent, I change its position relative to the divides bar. So that means put it up top. It's 64 to the 1/3 power. For the next problem, we are asked to solve this equation for x. The first thing I'm going to do is clear the fractions. That means get rid of those terms in the denominator by multiplying by the least common multiple of 4 and 10, which will be 40, or the least common denominator. So what happens if I multiply each term by 40? Well, we take 40 and multiply it by 3x minus 2 over 10. And then I'm going to take 40, multiply it by 4x plus 1 over 4. And I have to remember to multiply this by 40 as well. Now, I get some cancellation. 40 divided by 10 just becomes 4. 40 divided by 4 becomes 10, and this will just be negative 40. So now I have 4 times 3x minus 2 minus 10 times 4x plus 1 equals negative 40. Let's multiply everything out. I get 12x minus 8 minus 40x minus 10, because that minus sign applies to both terms, equals minus 40. So let's get some more room. Sorry. Now, I'm working with this. I want to combine like terms. What do I have? Let's put them together first. 12x minus 40x minus 8 minus 10 equals minus 40. Okay. 12 minus 40, I would just put that in my calculator to be careful. That's negative 28x minus 18 equals negative 40. Add 18 to both sides. Now I have negative 28x equals negative 22, and then divide by negative 28 to see that x equals 22 over 28, which we can simplify. Divide the numerator by 2, that would be 11 over 14. So you just had a negative sign. It looks like you did everything right, but you had a negative sign. All right, for the next one, which I called number 4, we are asked to simplify this expression. So we have to be sure we use order of operations. That means I'm going to square this and then multiply it by negative 1. So that will be 4/9, but it's negative, plus 10/3 minus 7. So now I need a common denominator, which is going to be 9. So negative 4/9 plus 30/9 minus 63/9. So that looks like 30/9 minus 67/9, which I put 30 minus 67 in my calculator, which is negative 37 over 9. Okay, we'll take a little break here.